Hi guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another Retro RPG. And this week I would like to present this, Sorcerer the RPG, an indie RPG which isn't afraid to tell you that it's an indie RPG. But we'll come to that on the desktop in just a wee second. But first, a wee reminder that if you'd like to see these videos a week early, or you'd like to help the channel out, then we've got a Patreon in the description down below. So if you'd like to check that out, it'd be very much appreciated. So, this is Sorcerer, which came out from Adept Press in 2001, although was earlier self-published by the author Ron Edwards from 1996. Now, the first thing worth noting is that this book is slightly smaller. If I grab my player's handbook, we can see that Sorcerer is somewhat smaller. It's not quite A5, it's much larger than that, but it's definitely smaller than your standard A4 books, but not so much as it makes much of a difference. Now, Sorcerer is the very epitome of a indie press role-playing game. And it is packed with ideas. But personally, I don't like having it being independent forced down my throat so much. But we'll do that as we come with it. Let's have a look at the back cover first of all. Sorcerer. How far will you go to get what you want? In this role-playing game, the characters are people, not mutants or monsters or elves. However, they know how to summon, bind, and command demons. They are driven people, willing to break the most fundamental laws of reality to achieve their goals. But demons are dangerous, transgressive beings who demand a price for the power they lend. The character commands unimaginable, horrific power with a mind of its own. Can you handle it? A complete role-playing system. Story creation. This is your instrument. Its rules are built specifically for you to create the most powerful, entertaining story possible. No wasted motion. Event resolution is based on a fast, fun, and innovative dice system, well suited to all aspects of interaction, violent conflict, and sorcery. Flexibility and creativity. Full guidelines permit you to customize the premise with your own unique vision. With over 4 years of successful online sales, an international fan base, and established support, Sorcerer now moves permanently into book format. You've never seen role-playing like this before. Now, that's a big promise. And it's not one which really delivers so much. I've seen games like this. We've got lots of other role-playing games which have similar ideas where you're making deals with demons. There's other games which are very open on the way you use magic. Even down to things like Ars Magica, where the magic system is completely open and free. This does have certain aspects which are way more flexible, but it really is trying to sell itself on the fact that this is independent, so it is better. Even when we open the book, because it does have a dust cover, nice shiny gold embossed lettering on there inside. About Adept Press. Adept Press is owned and operated by Ron Edwards, the author of Sorcerer and its supplements as well as Elves. He is committed to the following principles. Creator ownership. Published materials should be by and for role players, not corporations. Innovation. New games should offer new avenues of role-playing experience, not merely another setting. Coherent foundation for design. System does matter in role-playing game. In Adept Press products, everything works and everything works together. Well, to tell the truth, I don't care who owns a game. If it's fun, it's fun. Now, back when D20 Modern came out, it's owned by Wizard of the Coast, the largest role-playing company out there, and it's a great game. Does the fact that it's by a massive corporation make it a worse game? No. Monopoly's by a massive corporation, and loads of people have fun playing that. Innovation. Well, games should be fun. I don't care how much they innovate either. Coherent foundation for design. Yeah, that probably does matter. It should be a standard system. I'm a big fan of that. That's what the D20 system brought to Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm not going to disagree with that final one. We've got on the back dust cover describing the supplements. Inside, well, the book's a bit difficult to leaf through. It springs closed quite easily because of the way it's bound. It's more like a novel than a standard role-playing book. Perhaps that accounts for the slightly different size. It is it's somewhat the same size as a hardback edition of a novel. We've got the contents page. And one of the things which really does hammer down your throat the fact of indie, and we've got our design concepts and all that, is the fact that the appendices are things like System Does Matter, System Design Part 1, System Design Part 2, in conclusion. It spends a few pages basically talking down to you, or at least I felt like they were lecturing me, about why the rules matter so much, instead of just making a fun game. And the sad thing is, this is quite a fun game. I'm feeling lectured by it, but they've still created something damn good here. We've got the acknowledgements here, preface talking about a word on role-playing games, art or game. This is all very high concept things for role-playing games. I've always stated through my videos that if you're having fun, you're playing a game right. It doesn't matter about all these other things. Directs you to the Sorcerer website. Well, I'm afraid sorcererrpg.com has long since gone. I could look it up on Wayback Machine if I wanted, but I just put in the URL itself. Got information about supplements, word of encouragement, an introduction to the game. So we've got the heart of the game. One thing it does well, sorry, I skipped over there, it asks questions about it. You know, if sorcerers have been around on the planet for a while and they're so powerful, why aren't they running things? And it gets the games master to generate these ideas, to build the world for themselves, to answer these questions which are fundamental to the game. Details the system, which is a dice-based system where you are comparing the values of each dice rolled. And you can choose whatever size of dice you want. So if you want to roll your skill of 4 and you want to roll d4s, well, you're rolling against the opponent and they're rolling d4s. If you want to have a big chance of wider range of results, then you can roll d20s instead. So you still roll 4 d20s. Up to you. Size of dice and ties. It talks through what difference the size of the dice make. Crucial role-playing mechanics, bibliography, starting with the Hellbound Heart, the basis for the Hellraiser movies, but much better, especially because the demons are never explained or seen very clearly. So we're talking about demons, we've got comics, movies, television, all the ideas which have gone into creating this world. Then we're on to character generation. The character sheets there are very simple. I'm always a big fan of putting the character sheet somewhere easy, like the back of the book, and it's right in the middle of the chapter, as it has been in the last couple of games I've covered. But you can see there's just a few attributes. We've got descriptors, because most of this will be based around the concept for the character. If you are creating a sorcerer who's also a CIA agent, then you're writing down CIA agent, and you get a bonus based on things which a CIA agent would know. If you're creating a character who's a sorcerer and a butcher, then you write down butcher and you get a bonus on things a butcher would know. It's as simple as that. Carrying on through, it's got various ideas. You know, what does stamina, willpower mean, lore. You've got your humanity rating, because basically you're bargaining your humanity away to the demon. And that will affect you in the long run. Price for the sorcery. What the demons themselves are like. Choose scores, set humanity, write the kicker if you're stuck. So it's got lots of ideas here. And then we've got some sample characters. So we've got Harry Scarborough, a FBI agent. That's his cover. So he will get advantage on FBI agent stuff. Whereas we've got Armand DeVito here, who is, if I can find them, where's his cover? A Hollywood gigolo. So as a Hollywood gigolo, Armand gets to do seduction type things. He's a likable, manipulative skunk. He hasn't done anything evil out of pure luck and inattention. Done good only because it wasn't hard at the time. A kind of sleazy character. We've got Stephanie Page, who's a high school kid. We go through creating your characters and giving ideas for it. It details things about the world, you know, NPC sorcerers here, persons of power. And then we're on to the demons section, which details the types of demons before going on to their abilities. They get the character sheet as well. We've got the demon abilities, so armor, big, boost, cloak, command, confuse. Lists of powers they can get, like a few pages of them here. Desire. Every demon has a special interest and will urge its master into situations that give it a chance to indulge. A demon frustrated in its desire may well become cranky and start to rebel. So, you can have a powerful demon as a weak sorcerer, as long as you give in to its desires, which will make you do bad things and lose humanity and become weaker, allowing it to corrupt you. That's the kind of dealing you're making. If you're a powerful sorcerer, then you get less power by having a demon you can control. You want to have the risky demons. We've got a section here on role-playing demons. Example ones. Then we're on to the section on playing sorcerer, giving a few ideas. You know, demons of what they want. Organising a game. Sort of ideas. Demon on the loose. Cabals, duels. The dungeon way. Actual play and responsibilities. Very much an introduction to role-playing with ideas from the creator. Just going to flip through some sections here. Training run. This section provides practically ready-to-run Sorcerer Night. It takes about half an hour to set up and go with a scenario. Rules for sorcery. So talking about summoning the demons, punishing them, containing them, binding them. Binding subtleties, all the hidden levels of the magic, the costs. We've got rules for everything else. So just sort of skill rolls. Then we're on to the combat section. Details how you go through that. The damage types. It's very brief because most of this game is supposed to be about magic. It's not supposed to be about fisticuffs, really. We've got demons in combat, various modifiers, we've got the themes of the game, you know, world and style, sorcery, classics, radicals, complex sorcery and other magic, conspiracies, the really big questions, thematic points, really giving you a guide how to getting into the tone of sorcerer. And then we've got the appendices, as I mentioned before. System does matter. I've heard a certain notion about role-playing games used for almost 20 years. It doesn't really matter what system is used. A game is only good as the people who play it, and any system can work given the right GM and players. My point, I flatly entirely disagree. Well, I feel he's disagreeing because he wants to sell you a game. And that's no better than a large corporation wanting to sell you a game. And System Design Part 1, Part 2... in conclusion, and then we've got reference sheets for the game, things like the damage table, penalties, etc. And then we've got a character sheet at the back where they should be. And adverts for various other games, various indie ones, before we hit the index. First of all, an index of references. So if you want to look up where it references Preacher, or Pendragon, or GURPS, you can find the exact page references. But if you want to find the index for working out how combat rounds work, or command works, well, there's a second index, the main index there. And finally, we've got an advert for Hero Wars, which does look a whole load of fun as well. Welcome to Elves. Rude, entirely irrelevant, and yet curiously satisfying. So that is Sorcerer. While I do find it an absolutely lovely game, there's many good ideas in there, and I'll be going over the rules and the rules breakdown this Friday. But I do feel like it's preaching. Their author is selling it as an indie game and selling you the benefits of indie games. But I just want to be given a good game. I don't want to be lectured to, thank you very much. And that's my only problem with Sorcerer. the tone it takes in kind of speaking down to you. Or maybe it's just trying to convince you. But that's not what I wanted from the game. What I wanted was a cool, interesting system about making deals with demons, and this game provides exactly that. Anyway, I've whittled on for quite long enough as usual, so thank you very, very much for watching. But as always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.